Warren Moon joins us now live here on the Rich Eisen Show. Warren, do you remember that game when Rod beat you in Three Rivers in that horrible weather game?
I remember beating him in a bad weather game in Three Rivers too. So I don't know which one you're talking about. I remember a late touchdown pass to Drew Hill at the last part of the football game at Three Rivers. So I don't know, but we played Pittsburgh a lot. I played Pittsburgh probably more than any other team that I played against in the NFL. So there's no question they probably beat us up there a few times.
We had our fair shares.
Yes, you did.
I mean, these guys were Warren threw the best-looking deep ball out of any quarterback I've ever been around. I mean, he threw it so effortlessly. I mean, it's just his same ball that he threw for 5 yards. It's like looked like it was going to go 5, and it went 40. It was so easy.
Rod could watch him because they were never on his side of the field. I always threw him on the other side away from him.
That is a great answer. I love that. Warren Moon, Hall of Fame quarterback, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show as we're sitting here in Oakland getting set for kickoff to Week 12 of the NFL season between the Chiefs and the Raiders. And Warren, you've got a big game. You've got a marquee game up there in Seattle between the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Must-win game for the Seahawks. Warren, how would you characterize Marshawn Lynch's relationship with the coach, with management coming into this game?
I think with the coach is fine. I think with management, there's probably some disconnect there just because, Marshawn has had some contract issues with the organization. He's heard a lot of things, different rumors, different quotes where he's not sure if they were accurate or not coming out of the organization about whether he would be back with us next year, and I'm sure that's made him a little bit unsettled. So the one thing I know about Marshawn is once he goes inside those white lines, he's going to give you everything he's got as a football player, and that's all the guys in the locker room really ask for. But there's no question that other stuff can be a little bit of a distraction just because it's being talked about, especially when you're trying to get ready for one of the biggest games of the year that you probably need to win in order to stay in the playoff race.
And Warren, you talk about Marshawn Lynch and maybe not being with the team or next year or not, but you look at this year, and it would seem like going down the stretch that they want to find and make the centerpiece of their offense Marshawn Lynch. Do you think that will be the case moving down for the rest of this year?
Yeah, we've kind of done that the last few weeks, Rod. I think after Percy Harvin was traded, we kind of got away from that experiment and kind of got back to the identity of our football team, which is running the football, and that starts with Marshawn. And, against the Giants, we had 350 yards rushing. I think that was the game that really kind of got us back to who we are. And then last week, I think we had over 200 yards rushing. So we're starting to run the football again very well and control the line of scrimmage. What really hurt us last week is at the end of the game, we lost our center, Max Unger, who is a big loss for us because of what he brings to the table, both as a player and his smarts on the offensive line. But that's going to set us back a little bit. But other than that, that's what we have to get back to doing is controlling the line of scrimmage so Russell now can play action pass and get some big passes down the field because of all the focus put on Marshawn.
Well, and they also have right there in front of them control of their destiny in a way because they play Arizona twice. I know they trail them by 3 games, but they've got both of their games with Arizona, both of their games with San Francisco still to come, a big game at Philadelphia in Week 14, then a finisher at home against the Rams. So this is right there in front of Seattle for them to go on a run. But one of the players that they're missing is in New York and Percy Harvin, and one of the players that they're missing is Golden Tate in Detroit. And that's according to Golden Tate, Warren Moon. What did you make of Golden Tate's comments?
Well, I didn't see him exactly. I kind of heard about what he said. And what he said is true. When you lose 2 dynamic players like that, Golden, what he brought to the table last year, along with Percy, we all know what he's capable of doing when he's out there. That's a lot of playmaking ability that you don't have on your football team anymore. And that's one of the places we're lacking right now in our passing game is having that dynamic playmaker that puts fear in people and also somebody that Russell knows he can go to make a big play. And we have a lot of young receivers right now that are going to be good players, but it takes a while at that wide receiver spot for those guys to develop, and you just can't expect a lot out of young players very early. Kevin Norwood from Alabama is a really nice player, and so is Paul Richardson, but they're both rookies, and they're learning their way. So if you're in a playoff hunt and you're trying to do that with the guys who are still trying to learn their way, it makes it tough on the quarterback to find playmakers.
How do you see Russell playing this year? Critique his play so far this year in the league, or in this season. No, you lose two playmakers, but you still have some guys who are able and willing to make some plays for this football team.
You know, that's the thing that's hurt Russell, and I think it's any quarterback. You're only as good as the people you have around you, and not to say we don't have good players, we do, but you look at our wide receiving core and you measure, say, our number one wide receiver, Doug Baldwin, who's a good player, against a lot of the other number ones around the league, or a Calvin Johnson or a Des Bryant, or I can go on and on and on, Andre Johnson. Those type of guys, we don't have that type of player on our team. We don't have a big receiver that down in the red zone you can throw the ball up to and he can make a play for you. Nobody that really puts just fear in the other team's defense that you have to take away. So that hurts your quarterback. And he also doesn't have his starting tight end. Zach Miller's out for the year, another guy that he really depended on a lot. So there's a lot of pieces missing for Russell this year that he had last year. He's still done some really good things. He's been very productive this year, but the passing game has struggled in the last few weeks, especially since Percy's been gone, and that's part of the reason why. We're kind of going through this kind of reformation of our passing game, especially with a lot of young guys trying to learn a lot on the run.
But Warren Moon, before you started talking about the injuries and the people who aren't there, you're talking about the play of his teammates. It sounded like you almost went RG3 on me there, Warren. You almost said that in order for him to play well, the others have to play well.
No, I said
it almost sounded like you went full RG3 on me there, Warren.
Full RG3? Not full.
You almost went full RG3 on me.
All I'm saying is he doesn't have weapons, Rich. Rich, he lost weapons. Okay. RG3 hasn't lost any weapons. He still has the same players. Russell doesn't have the same players. He's missing three significant players from this football team that help him make plays. And the guys that are filling in for him are young guys who are still learning. So, no, that's not full RG3. RG3 has his full arsenal of people, and they're just not getting it done.
Well, what did you make of his comments, Warren Moon? What did you make about everything that's going down in D.C. with him?
When you're a quarterback, you just cannot say those things about your football team, whether you feel that or not. You can't say those things publicly. And I just thought it was bad timing on his part to say anything like that. As a quarterback, you have to be willing to take, if not all the blame, as much of the blame as you can possibly handle. And just feel like you're confident enough that, okay, I'll take the blame, put it on my shoulders, even though I know it's not all my fault. But I have enough confidence to know that I'm going to go out there and play better, and I'm going to help my teammates play better around me. And that's just the attitude you have to have, whether it happens or not, or whether you believe it or not. That's what has to be done. And you just can never discredit your football team because you're going to lose them.
Talking ball with a couple Hall of Famers here on the Rich Eisen Show. Rod Woodson here in Oakland and Warren Moon on the phone prior to the Seahawks and the Cardinals playing on Week 12. Warren, before I let you go, Kurt Warner is a semifinalist to join you in that bust gallery in Canton, Ohio. What do you make of his credentials to be joining you in that room, Warren?
Well, he definitely has the credentials to be a Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. It just depends on when they want it to happen, based on what the voters are looking at this particular year, because I think every year they go in that room, I think there's maybe not so much of an agenda, but I think there's certain people that they want to make sure, if possible, get in because they've been around for so long on the final ballot or whatever, and they just feel like it's their time to get in. So I think that's what it's going to depend on for Kurt, just where he is in the pecking order of what the committee thinks this particular year as far as the guys they want to vote in, because there's so many guys that are all capable of being in, and every guy that makes it to those finals, no question, should be in there. But it's just the one they can only pick so many per year, and we'll just see how it all pans out.
Warren, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, guys. Great talking to you. Take care, Rod.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.